They bring in with them a bunch of equipment, guns, and some rope and a sleeping bag. And then they get to the showers. They find the access to where that goes to the sewer. And they you see them throw the sleeping bag down, right? It just plops right in the water. And they never touch it again. It isn't in a single extra scene. They go through this whole song and dance about bringing all this equipment and stuff in a sleeping bag. They throw the sleeping bag in the sewer and leave it there.
I can't help thinking, somewhere in the universe, there has to be something better than man. Has to be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascension To Ten.
Here we are.
We're back.
Was it blasting your ears?
It was. I had to turn that basically to 0 every time.
Doesn't get old. We always crank that up.
Yep.
So
it's always lost on the edit. The audience has no idea how loud that is for us.
Though every time I edit, the intro is much longer because it takes me so long to get the thing to go down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Spenny's cranked out 2 episodes now. So this last week's episode was another Spenny banger.
Oh. Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say
I
it's great. I haven't had the time to watch it yet because it came out today. Oh yeah.
I was the benefactor of the new computer, so everything worked much easier. Except for some reason, 5 minutes was just gone, so I had to clip it in. So, no idea why.
Will this ever end?
There's always something.
Ever going to great. But yeah, the boys on new technology. Literally everything is the same now. There is no different. We have this exact same internet provider as well, obviously in different locations, but
it's true.
There is nothing that's different except our mic stands. That is the one thing that's different. And so that could be the last thing holding us back.
Rickety old thing.
My goodness.
Okay, Jad, last week you talked about golfing and a memory came up. Well, you got done golfing and then you couldn't see because you were blind and my God, I couldn't see.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me. I can't see at night anymore.
I'm blind.
That.
Okay.
But so the last time I went golfing was, I think, 2014. So I have a set of clubs. So they have dust on them. They're sitting in the basement.
Yeah.
But so it was for my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's wedding. And the day before the wedding, the guys were getting together to go golfing in the morning. So it was, do golfing and then everybody get back, get ready, do the rehearsal dinner, all that stuff. So I hadn't been golfing in years. And I was like, you know what? I have to get to the driving range. So the day before we go golfing, I go to the driving range and I hit, 4 buckets of balls. My hands are just blisters everywhere.
Like the Office scene, right? Andy, right?
Yeah. I'm terrible. Yeah, I'm Andy. Yeah, I'm wearing a glove with lotion in it. And so we get there in the morning. I already know, I tried to hit the driver at the driving range. It sucked. Never worked. But I was like, whatever. We're just gonna, we're going for it. It was, every bunch of guys that are in their 20s. Well, we get to the first hole. Everybody's standing around. They say, oh, this group will go first. So Spencer, go ahead. You go first.
Hell yeah.
Get the driver out. Swing. Ball goes straight up and then down and hits an uncle in the head. Everyone else starts backing up. because the first thing I did was drill somebody in the head.
Well, where was this person in relation to you guys?
So it was the drive, what's
T-box.
that thing called?
Yeah.
The T-box.
Yeah.
The T-box was on a platform of grass with rocks around it and grass like around it. So you couldn't see anyone around you. Somehow I made it up and over the grass and smoked somebody in the head. That was to start it.
Nice.
One of the grandpas was walking around with a camera taking pictures, like action shots, so taking people's swings as they were going and stuff. And there's this awesome photo of me wearing khakis, swinging, perfect backswing, and then as you see me come back up, ball still there. Just got grass flying over it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
can you dig up that picture
was funny,
so we can add it?
Oh yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll send it to you. But then there's one hole that is along this super busy street, and we had to get the drivers out again. They're like, well, just be careful, aim this way, farther away from it so you don't hit it. What do? Smoke it. Goes the opposite direction, right into traffic. Just a golf ball bouncing everywhere. We just drove away. I have no idea what happened. Maybe it hit something. I don't know. But that was literally the last time I went golfing. And when I was editing this, I was thinking of golfing, and then somebody, my sister-in-law, sent me the picture of me swinging at that, and I realized that was my retirement from golf. So unless we get together to go golfing for some sort of 8 to 10 event, I think that might be it. So
it makes me wonder.
That was a little bit of a funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. It makes me wonder, the last time I remember golfing with you was when we were in high school and we went to Hidden Valley, the par 3 course in Brandon.
Yes. Yeah.
And there were,
I had my uncle's clubs back then.
Okay. Yeah. There were at least 6 of us, right? And that course, at least at the time, was just kind of, if you were there, you could, golf was kind of secondary to what happened on that course.
Mostly the golf carts.
Yeah. And so for some reason, we were able to each get our own cart. Right. So 6 of us. So not 3 carts. Right. It was just 6 of us with carts. And we could have been a little bit more respectful to those things. But
yeah,
just doing power slides every single time we stopped. And I don't remember how well the golfing went, but that was the last and maybe only time we ever golfed together. And
yeah, I think so.
And
I'm not much of a golfer per se. So
it's interesting you brought that up, because I was actually kind of thinking about maybe talking about golf this week as well. And it's not a funny thing, but it is kind of maybe a motivating factor for the listeners. And so this summer I have been playing, and this now is fall, but a lot more golf than I have in a really long time. And it's been really fun. And I got new clubs this summer. And so and things have been going, I've been getting better for the first time in playing golf. I've actually been improving at the game. And whether that's because of the clubs or because I committed to getting clubs and kind of committed to, thinking about it more. In either case, I'm getting better. And so it's been really fun, because now I'm kind of incorporating goals as to where I want to be, and seeing that progress has been really fun. Right. And so I've had this target in mind for basically the whole summer, the whole season so far. But
that's why your FFC went to crap. You've been focused.
Well, kind of. But I mean, I get 1,000 calories every time I go golfing, right? So
it's such bull crap. Oh my gosh,
you hate it. That's so awesome.
The one week we had the first competition, and I wake up on a Saturday morning, and it's all of a sudden it's 10:30 in the morning, and you've 500% of goal or whatever for calories burned because you were at a golf course. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And that was the day I ran 6 miles. Just to feel like, screw you.
Well, look, you're the one that was always saying that walking is the best fitness or whatever. I get all this stuff because I walk. Well, walking a golf course is, I don't know how many miles that is, but it's, playing your own game at that point. But
Okay. Yeah. Anyways,
So
go on with
anyways,
your goals, whatever.
So, but well, for the last month, it's
is
just
there a
been
point to
going.
this story?
Yeah. The point is, for the last
Okay.
month, it's been going completely backwards. I've been doing worse. Every time I went out, it was worse than the time before, worse than the time before. So I'm actively regressing, and it was getting me down. Not because, look, it has nothing to do with being good at golf is not the goal, right? It's a fun outcome, but the goal is to, or the whole point is to achieve a goal, right? It's similar to our FFC, right? But the whole thing is finding something you like and then trying to get better at it. And so I was, for a month, consistently getting worse and worse. It was really getting me down. I wasn't having any fun. And I was just kind of thinking, well, what am I doing? You know, what's the point here? Because this isn't fun anymore. So why am I keep trying? Yeah. So, and it actually was kind of around the same time as last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago, giving up but not quitting. Yeah. Right. So the point is, last time I went out last week, I got back to where I was when I was feeling great about it. And I just kind of went out, decided that, look, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just going to be what it is. And ended up playing back to where I was. And so that's basically the message is that, you know, if you have a goal, just keep trying.
Don't give up.
Just don't give up. Well, don't quit. I think give up for a second and then don't quit.
Yeah, there's a great Daniel Tiger episode that is got a little jingle to it, and it says, "Keep trying, you'll get better." So that's for you, Jad.
Let's go.
Just keep trying.
Nice.
Yeah. Shout out Daniel Tiger.
So, anyways, and I have a somewhat related anecdote about, well, offshoot. Okay. About not giving up and, you know, personal growth and whatnot. So like that last story, this is not funny at all. Might not even be entertaining, but I think is what we've talked about a little bit on the show previously is my OCD tendencies and stuff.
Yes.
I don't think we've gone too into detail about it, but look, I have OCD tendencies about certain things. What makes them annoying for me is that how irrational they are, right? I like to think that I'm a rational person, but there are certain things that I do that don't cause any harm, or like it doesn't inhibit me from doing what I want to do. I'm not late because of this stuff, but it's just like checking the doors that have already been checked and were checked before that, right? It makes no sense. However, I can't change it all in one kind of big effort, but I have made progress on one area, and I realized this morning. So when I park my car in the morning, it used to be lock the doors, walk away, click the remote, you know, just keep locking that stupid thing as I'm walking away and just listening to the horn and stuff. And it's like, oh, I didn't hear the horn that time. And it's just ridiculous. Right. Yeah. So I'm locking the car door about 5-6 times. And it's to the point where people with OCD might kind of resonate with this. It's not that you're satisfied, at least for me. It's not that I'm satisfied that I think it's locked. It's that I'm so annoyed with myself that I keep doing it, that part of my brain lets me just kind of walk away. Right. But so with this car, there is a little button on the door handle that you can lock it. Right. Yeah. So what I do and what I have been doing is I'll just put the key to the car in my backpack, zip it up, won't even have access to it. And I'll hit the button on the door handle and I just hear the beep and walk away. And it's been about 2 months that I've been able to do that, where I don't even, you know, when I started that, it was like, solid. Okay, I'll take the key out of my bag and then, you know, do the whole song and dance. But, so it's progress. So again,
that's progress, man.
If you have something in your life that you want to change, you just go for it.
Yeah. Just make sure you don't have access to it and then it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like put the pockets in pants and then sew the pocket shut. Then you can't unlock it or something like that. Is that what you were getting?
Yeah, lock the door and then just throw.
Would
the
that
key
be the
away.
next step?
Just throw the key in a bush. Dude. You can't even use the car, right? It's locked, and you can't do anything about it. One way or the other, you can't even unlock it. No one can unless they find the key.
Yeah.
All right, one more thing, Spenny.
So,
and this is a micro story. This is my favorite shirt I've ever had. Viewers of the YouTube version will notice that it's just a floral pattern shirt. It's long sleeve.
Yeah, it's really cute. Off-white tones.
It's in my new golf attire, right? I don't really consider it a golf shirt, but it's part of Nike Golf, right? It's just a cool shirt. I like it. Went to get a flu shot today at work, and it's a blood stain on this thing now because this is a long sleeve. I had to do this. I had to pull it down over my shoulder collarbone area to get access, and the person who gave me the shot, I don't know, caused my arm to bleed. That's never happened before.
Why didn't you just do it over the shoulder? Pull it off the other way.
Just take off my shirt.
Yeah, halfway.
Well,
where'd you get this flu shot? Did you get it in your neck?
I got it in my arm, right? So I had to pull this whole thing down, right?
Just do this. Just do this.
Yeah. So this is happening in a huge tent full of hundreds of people. It's this mass vaccination.
Oh, so you didn't want to do that? Okay.
And so it's not like I'm in a clinic, right?
Well, I was on a swim team and we showered with the wrestling team, so being naked. So
yeah, well, these are my coworkers that I'm with, not teammates.
Oh,
right?
you did? Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah. Didn't want to show off.
So, anyways, story being, I got blood on my favorite shirt and I'm ticked off.
I was ticked off too.
That's it.
Did you put water on it to see and dry? It's gonna stain unless you put water on it. You got to put water on it right away, otherwise it's going to get permanently stained from the blood. All
right, time to end the podcast. Then I gotta go take care of the shirt. Bye. Goodbye, everyone.
Go all right, that's Irish Spring and rub some soap on it.
Irish Spring. It's just green wax. You ever used it? It feels like just you're rubbing wax on your body.
Yeah, we literally use it to rub out blood.
Oh,
that is something we do at home. At our house. Yes, because it's one of the few things you. Yeah, well, what one bar.
Gotta go get some Irish Spring now.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't have to be Irish Spring, but it smells really nice. It smells refreshing.
Well, it does smell nice, but if you ever put it on your skin, it's impossible to remove. The residue lasts for days. One shower with that stuff.
Maybe you should start rinsing yourself instead of just putting soap on and then throwing a towel on.
Anyway. Anybody who's used Irish Spring can attest. I maybe that should be a poll. And speaking of polls, we got to discuss a poll.
I just can't wait for this.
Well, I have something to say. I think
because if you listen to the episode, the thing we say is either we're gonna do no bleeps or bleeps, and then we started talking about should we change the bleep.
That's not what was said. You know what? What's going to happen here is in the I'm going to put up right now a clip of what was actually said. So transition to the clip. Leveraging our massive social media platform. Yes. If we get a total of 15 votes, annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that these should be the options. Annoying, get rid of it. Annoying, change it to something else. Love it, keep it. Don't care.
Don't care.
And then whatever wins, we'll honor. So thank you. Okay, so what was said? Obviously, I don't have it up in front of me, but I think there were 4 options. Right? It was keep it, love it, keep it, hate it, lose it, change it to something else, don't care. Right?
Yeah, and you know what? 2 options would impact the other one. So if we said
Not necessarily,
Get rid
because
of it.
all you said was get rid of it.
Yes.
So, okay, what was the actual poll? Because I didn't actually even see it.
It was either let the swears fly or keep the bleep.
Okay, but here's the problem. The problem was people were annoyed by the type of bleep we had.
Right. I think
the
implication is any bleep would be annoying. Therefore, just get rid of it.
That is, but okay. So what were the results?
Sir? The results were 11-5. Let the swears fly.
So, okay, first of all, thank you for participating because we had 16 votes. I put up 15 as the number, thinking that was a stretch goal, and we obliterated that. So thank you for engaging with our social media, participating.
Yeah, hopefully everyone checked out the poll for the most recent one, which is, does Jared Leto have butthole eyes? So that's for this week's No.
Answer yes.
That is more important.
That's yes. I guess they're going to hear this a week after. So
yeah, I mean it's been
whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I'm sure they're keeping track.
Okay, so what are we saying here? Are we going to say? Are we implying now that I can go on the air and say, "Dick fuck," and
yeah,
things
blow
like
it out your blowhole, cat.
I can say things like
something like
clean up that.
Okay, well let's dial it back a little.
That's what we're gonna say, like fucking,
I guess.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of I don't know. So are we going to let that fly?
I think there are a couple of swear words that you probably have to bleep. I would say that probably isn't appropriate, but good Lord.
Oh man.
Oh, so you're trying to prove a point here, be like, well, we need the bleep because I'm too extreme now.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Good Lord.
I mean, every time we sit down to record, it's like a blank slate. So,
well,
I just want to be clear with what we're doing here.
Hey, you know what? Don't bleep this one. Find out. See what happens. Maybe we'll get reported to the FCC. Never know.
I guess we'll find out because
speaking of swearing
right?
too.
Yeah.
Speaking of swearing this movie had a lot of swear words in it. I mean, the first line in this, didn't it? We're talking about Maximum Overdrive this week.
Okay, yeah. So let's pop into that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to read the synopsis right away.
Oh, okay, and then good.
We'll get into it because this is good. Good. Okay. So Maximum Overdrive from 1986. You better crank the volume. AC/DC is taking you home in this thriller. Hop on the Truck Express. Emilio Estevez is working a 9-hour shift on an 8-hour wage at the Dixie Cup. A comet's tail causes all machines in the world to come alive. You heard that right. A comet causes all machines to come alive and humans are the target. You follow a group of people at a dusty old gas station near Wilmington, North Carolina, and the semi-trucks are torturing them because they get picked off one by one. Luckily, Emilio Estevez is super smart, and they have bazookas that can fire like they're holding a water hose. Ultimately, they just run into a marina, they get on a sailboat, and it ends. But don't worry, you'll find out that there was a UFO that gets destroyed by a Russian nuke, and the comet flies away, and all is good in the world. What? That's it.
Let's go. Nicely done.
That's the story, man. I don't know.
That is the exact story.
I guess I did. If it helps add context to this, so this was written and directed by Stephen King, and it is the one and only Stephen King book that he actually directed himself. And a few things about it. It's actually based on a short story that King wrote called Trucks. and it was 3 pages long, and somehow they turned it into a 90-minute film. And a million.
Did you say 3 pages?
3 pages.
3 pages.
And they turned this into.
Oh, okay, go on.
So, Stephen King was coked out of his mind the whole time during this film, and he didn't know what was going on. There's actually a quote. A camera assistant recalled that what could have been cocaine boredom setting. He said he was getting bored because the dailies were 2 hours. Now that you tell me this quote, I imagine that the cocaine inside 2 hours sitting is very long. So he was just on cocaine. So that is why this film makes no sense.
Did the version that you watched have an introduction by King? I rented it on YouTube, and so he
I did too.
At the start of it, it was this thing like, "Hi, I'm Stephen King. I wrote this movie and I directed it. This is my first time being a director." And that was all super serious and stuff. And then he was also the first character in the movie.
Yeah.
But did you see that version of him giving the intro?
I don't think so, but I think the trailer for this movie was actually him just standing in front of like a black screen. So he looks really serious, but he actually looks really drugged out.
Okay. So I must have watched that and then hit rent or something. Okay. All right.
Must have.
Okay.
But yeah, so the premise of this, it brings up a title card and it has a little paragraph that comes up talking about some tale of a Rems comet is coming by the Earth and it's going to last 8 days. And according to the calculations, it'll stay there, whatever. It's just like a comet showed up for 8 days. And the sky is green because of the comet.
Yeah.
And then you just see yeah.
What? Do you know what a comet tail is?
The tail of a comet.
Yeah.
Just the particles burning off.
Yeah, it's water. Right, it's just water.
Okay, cool.
So there's nothing else there.
Water.
And in fact, that
Energized
there's
water.
some like astronomers, astrophysicists think that the water on Earth came from just comets passing by, just dumping a few oceans worth of water.
That's a lot. That's
on
a
the
lot
planet.
of water.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's a lot of water in these things.
That's a lot.
And so
of
there's
water.
no
that
mystical.
Must have been a huge comic.
Yeah, so there's nothing else. There's just water, right? So I don't know if there's, but I guess it's a UFO or something, right? That caused all this stuff.
Well, I mean, they don't tell you that till at
Okay.
the end of the movie. So then you're kind of
Okay.
like, what's happening? And so,
Okay.
yes. So there is a UFO that apparently is over that. But it doesn't explain how does that relate to the comet.
Yeah.
So that's why the cocaine, me implying about the cocaine makes more sense because none of this makes sense. But yeah, you're right. Stephen King is the first character in this, and it's at a bank, and the sign above the bank is spelling out, just says "fuck you."
Yeah.
And then Stephen King's trying to get cash out of the ATM and just says, "You are an asshole." He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, the ATM says I'm an asshole."
To have Stephen King be
And
the
then
first
just kicks
character
in
is such
AC/DC, man.
Yeah. It's just so I don't know. It just kicks it off in such a tone that doesn't change, right? It's a consistent tone. That's the one thing that can be said about this movie is that it starts with Stephen King at an ATM being told you're an asshole by the thing. So then I guess the first bit of action, it starts right away into some people dying in action and stuff, right? And so there's this Now I don't know where they are in North Carolina, I guess, or something, but there's a bridge that opens up, right, for ships or something. And these two homies are at the controls chit-chatting, right, not paying attention to anything. And then the bridge just starts opening up. And there's people on the bridge in cars. And so they're, the bridge is going vertical, right? So all the cars are going to get pushed down, or they're going to fall backwards, right? But the speed at which some of these cars accelerate backwards is hundreds of miles an hour or something.
Yeah, it's like they're shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, and then the people go flying out of the windshield, which doesn't make any sense, Spenny, that if you're at a bridge, and you're like, you're traveling towards a bridge and it opens up. That means that you are, if you then fall backwards, you're not going to go through the windshield, right? You're going to, if anything, go through the back window. But at least two of these people shot through their windshield. And because somehow, I guess they were turned around somehow, right? And then,
well,
but it's just
flying watermelons, man. There's just watermelons everywhere.
Yeah,
some chick just got smoked by watermelons through the glass.
But then it
also didn't make sense that they didn't make sense that the things were up. People were like sliding down, and then all of a sudden cars would just come flying.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's just like.
And they every single person went flying through some type of piece of glass. And awesome. It was just so comical too. The stunt people or the dummies that they had shooting out of these things were just perfect Superman, kind of action sequences. And speaking of which, there were so many characters that got ran over, right, by these cars. And it was just so freaking funny, the dummies that they used, right? Because they just got pancaked. Yeah. And they always made it a point to show it. And then this bucket of blood that would, appear out of nowhere. But
also, I mean, if you were to fast forward it, like when you're watching those, like all of a sudden it's just like you can see it when they throw it. Like they throw the blood right on them from off screen.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So there is zero preamble to this thing. It starts with Stephen King at the bank, and then the bridge scene happens, and then there's
that paragraph at the beginning is all you need to get queued up for what's going to come.
Because then basically people are getting slaughtered everywhere by lawnmowers and just getting caught up in the their car windows, I guess, getting like severed or something from their car window going up, and by pop can machines, vending machines, just shooting out pop cans. And so I think I mentioned maybe the last episode or something, about how I think there are rules against showing or depicting violence against kids in movies, right? Well, those rules must have occurred after this movie was made, because there is a scene, there's this Little League baseball scene where they won the game or something. The scene, so the scene starts with you hear the ump first, right? It's like kind of panning around. I think this is how I remember it, but the ump says safe or you're out. In either case, it doesn't matter because whatever team won, right?
Yeah.
And what I found so funny about how this scene started is that the ump says, let's just say he says safe, like safe, right? And he's saying safe and then already leaving. So his job ended the nanosecond he said safe on the last inning or the last out or whatever. And he's picking up his pads and heading out, right? He doesn't stay to validate anything. It's safe. And then he just in stride just starts leaving. And then, I mean, it's a minor other character, right? But I just found that so funny that someone must have told him to do that, right? Or I guess he didn't care, right? There was no direction, and he said safe and just starts leaving. And but so anyways, the winning team is like, all, yeah, you know what, woo, and stuff, and like, time for some pop. And so the coach walks over with a handful of dimes or something and starts, I guess he's going to buy cans of pop for the entire team from one vending machine, right?
That's right.
So one by one, just putting in coins.
12 people.
Well, and an entire team's worth of pop cans come shooting out of this thing, and about the first 4 or 5 go directly into the coach and kill him on the last one because they just dome him. And then it starts shooting all these pop cans at the kids. These are, I don't know, 10-year-olds. And then out of nowhere, this steamroller comes barreling through the field, right? And it is, if you've seen Austin Powers, we've talked about this movie a couple of episodes ago, but there's this great scene in Austin Powers where he's going to get run over by a steamroller or something. He's yelling, no! And then it's, you know, he's a mile away or something. And then, but this thing literally flattens a kid. So there was no, at this point in time, any kind of regulation about showing violence to kids because a kid gets steamrolled, and that's probably the most violent death of the whole thing, right? Flattened by a steamroller.
This specific one, Stephen King, he wanted the SFX department to put a bag of fake blood near the young player when it gets run over, so it'd have more of a smear across the thing, the wheel or the roller, and then the grass. So it looked like it was kind of like a printing press of blood across. But apparently the thing just exploded and sprayed everywhere, and just instead it looked like the kid's head exploded. They got so excited by that result, but they had to cut it because it was so violent. So we ended up getting it cuts off before he gets destroyed. It was awesome.
Am I calling that right? Is that a steamroller? Why?
Yeah, that's what I think. I could not think of the word. Steam.
Why is it steam though? That doesn't make any sense.
I think they used to be powered by steam. Yeah, they used to be powered by steam when they first were making roads. And then it's cement roller. I don't know. Do they call it that now?
Yeah. Well, yeah. In any case, some kind of big ass roller heavy thing.
Yeah, man.
So all right. So yeah, let's get to the main characters here.
Yeah, so Emilio Estevez is in this. He's the main bro. There is a joke where Emilio Estevez has to go talk to his boss named Bubba, and it turns out Bubba hires only people on parole, so he can kind of twist their arm and make them work more hours than what they get paid. So this whole place is, you know, getting screwed over. Emilio Estevez is kind of like the jack of all trades at this place. Like, he helps serve food, he's filling up gas. It seems like he can do everything. And he all of a sudden there is a electric meat knife that just starts going off next to the grill. It doesn't really make sense why it's there, but a lady has her arm right there, and then it cuts her arm, and she starts screaming. And then Emilio Estevez comes over and starts hammering at it. And you can clearly see once it's open, there's a battery inside it.
Yeah.
Like it says Duracell right on the thing. So obviously it has batteries in it. So obviously it's going to work.
Yeah.
But it was just funny seeing that. And this Bubba character is just, I don't know, man. He's just like this old owner. And he's like, basically is a militant per se.
Yeah.
He's a goofy guy.
Yeah. So some weird stuff happens at this truck stop diner thing, right? And around the same time, so this knife just comes on by itself, cuts her arm, falls on the floor, then starts cutting her feet, right? And at the same time, they have this arcade, and there's nothing. It just cuts to a scene of some random guy in the middle of the arcade with all of the lights flashing, right? There's no he was playing a game and then all the stuff went on, right? It's just, you're already established he's in there with all the stuff going on, flashing and moving. And he says his one line, he sees this happening and he says, "Yo, mama." And then I don't know, he gets electrocuted or something.
Cigarettes start shooting out, and he's stuffing every part of his body, like all his jacket and his pants and stuff. And then he decides like, there's an arcade game here. I should play that. And he just walks over to it, puts his hand on it, and shocks him, and he dies. That is what happens.
But it's just, there's so many things like that there where the viewer has to, not that it's difficult in any way, but the viewer has to do all the work, right? Establishing what was leading up to the scene that they then jump to, right?
Yeah.
How is it entertaining? Or, King likes to write suspense and whatnot, right? And I'm sure that he thought that this was a horror movie because of all the music that was playing and stuff. And so, but why have the audience do the work? It's like if there's a scary movie, a scary scene where someone's walking down a hallway and there's, some creaking and cracking and stuff going on. That's where the actual entertainment is, right? Instead of just jumping to, she's already dead, or this person's already dead.
Right.
So anyways, it fits, right? Everything that we're saying fits within the theme of not making sense.
Yeah. Well, I will. So this little tidbit for you will help. So Emilio Estevez was cast as the main character in this. But according to people that worked on the film, the only person Stephen King could see filling the role of Bill Robinson, which is Emilio Estevez's character, was Bruce Springsteen. So he really wanted Bruce Springsteen to do his first acting in his film. So the producer, Dino De Laurentiis, didn't know who Bruce Springsteen was or didn't want him, and he cast Emilio Estevez. And according to De Laurentiis' translator, King couldn't give a shit about the movie after Stephen King was not in the picture.
So awesome. So awesome.
And Stephen King has been since quoted to say that this is a moron movie. He wanted to do a moron movie, is how he described it.
Oh, that's so funny.
So
okay. So we can power through a few of these things because it's just so dumb. The cars come to life and they start running people over. That's it. Right? That's it. Except for when...
Well, yeah, okay. So one key thing is, so the lawnmower. So there's a scene where like you see the lawnmower, it's got blood on it. And there's this kid who's riding his bike everywhere, which this kid must just had done 20 miles power in his bike.
Yeah.
But there was actually an accident from the lawnmower. The director of photography, so like the film guy, actually got hit with a wood splinter, hit him in the eye, and he lost his eye. And so he sued Stephen King. And there's like multiple quotes where people were like, they're talking about like how many times they saw people on fire, and they didn't know if they were going to be able to put the fire out. Laura Harrington, who plays one of the main characters, she said there was one guy on fire and they really had a hard time putting him out. So, you always felt like someone was going to die on set. It's just like, oh my gosh. Like, what is this film? They're trying to kill people.
Imagine getting seriously hurt or maimed for this stupid thing, right? and this is what you have to show for it, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's amazing.
I mean,
that leads up to the Bubba like one of the scenes, right? Is just all of a sudden Bubba has a bazooka, and he's just sitting at the, like sidearm, just firing it from the side of his arm.
Yep.
Like, I'm pretty sure
at the people too, right? It just didn't.
Yeah,
he was shooting it at a truck, but with the people in front of it, right? So okay, this scene sets up. This scene is a perfect example for all the just interesting decisions. So there's this big semi truck came into this truck stop, has a clown face on it or something because it's a toy, it ships toys or something. I don't know, whatever.
It's the Green Goblin. That's what it was designed after.
Okay. All right. So it's this, big black pickup or semi truck with the black trailer, and it's supposed to be intimidating or something. I don't know. It's the main villain of the Cars.
Yep.
So he strolls in, gets his, gets filled up or whatever, and then, he's getting some pie or something, right? And and so then the truck just kills the gas attendant because he just turns on, and then the gas attendant got blinded from the gas because he was looking straight into the gas nozzle because it wasn't working, and then tar came out or something and blinded him.
Yes.
Okay. So like tar, right? And so he's stumbling around because the kid Spenny was talking about on the bike, that is this gas attendant's kid. And so after he was, stabilized from his traumatic eye injury, he said, I got to go, find my boy. He completely blind, right? And he's going to go wander around the town finding his boy. And so they're all, saying, hey, no, it's too dangerous out there. And he's like, no, I don't know. And so he's walking out there, just literally stumbling around. And then he drops his keys, and then he gets flattened by this clown car, right? He lets himself get run over. I don't know if you've ever heard have you ever heard a semi, Spenny? They're loud, right? They're really loud.
They're very loud.
Very loud. And so
there's multiple times in this. Yeah, there's multiple times in this film where all of a sudden a semi is just behind somebody, and you're like, "Whoa, where did they come from?"
At full steam. That's the important part. Going full speed. That sucker is loud, and so this gas attendant just gets flattened, right? And then the car, the whole truck trailer flattens him across the parking lot, and then just parks, and then it's done, right? So we're talking about maybe 100 yards total of this travel of this semi truck, right? And so, okay, a couple scenes later, Emilio Estevez comes out and checks on the truck and, is kind of sneaking around the cab and thinking it odd that there's no one in the truck, right? And there's no one there. There's no evidence of anyone having been there. Does it make any sense to you, Spenny, why Emilio Estevez would do that and not the driver of the fucking truck, right?
No, it never
Who
made
the
any
is
sense.
Emilio Estevez? He was flipping eggs 20 seconds before this, and then he's the one going out to investigate a murder scene. And so
the man has been in prison. He's MacGyver and stuff. I mean, come on. If later on he's going through a sewer, he knows how to shoot guns. He's what can he do?
So we're establishing that he's going to be the leader of these people, right? Except Bubba is the one with the bazooka and stuff. But then there's this hitchhiking woman comes into town, or comes into the mix. And without any kind of introduction between those two, Emilio Estevez goes out and checks on this truck. He walks back into the Dixie Cup, and then she's all like, what'd you find? Like she's now in second in command.
She's now
and
second
he says, I don't know. And then they're, I don't know. Then he gets a rocket shot at him, right? Because it turns back on or something. And then, the next scene with those two, keep in mind, they've said at this point on screen, half a second worth of things to each other, right? They don't know each other. Right. She says, you're cute. He says, yeah, not that cute. I'll grow on you. And then the next scene, they're having sex. And it's as if this was some kind of star-crossed lovers, fated to find each other in the Dixie Cup during
trauma. So they have that connection, and that brought them together very quickly. Just a couple, quick milliseconds.
So the person that she hitchhikes into the Dixie Cup with, he gets flattened as well, right? Because his car goes ballistic on its own, and then he's all pissed off about it, and then he just gets, obliterated or something, right? And so then another scene, the woman, the drifter woman, you see her changing clothes or something, right? And Emilio's standing there, and he says, "What are you doing?" Right? And she says,
Yeah.
"I just got to get these clothes off. I got to change these clothes because it smells too much like him." He's dead at this point, right? Or seriously hurt. And he doesn't say anything. Right? And then she finished changing clothes, and then she says, "Okay." This is written and acted and in the film, where she just says "okay" to no question. He doesn't say anything.
Okay.
And she says okay. And they filmed that and kept it in, and for no reason, no context.
Chad, I mean, for cripe's sake, they had a 3-minute scene between Joey Plops and Billy the Kid, and Joey is just taking a massive dump, and all you hear is plops and farts, and all they're trying to find out is where the weapons are.
Where the weapons are.
And this guy is just, you just plop, plop. And that is the scene. And it is a serious scene.
And then so he's in the stall, right? And he's reading a newspaper or something, right? And then Emilio Estevez is outside looking at the vents or something. He's not even using the restroom. He's just like seriously looking at the vents or something. And then so he's trying to coax it out of him where the guns are. And then, as Spenny said, he's making bowel movement noises. And then Emilio Estevez just looks over the stall and then just starts talking to him that way. He's like, peers over. And all this is happening at the same time. Everything we've described.
What's cooking in there, buddy? Somebody making soup?
Anyways, they start. Okay, they hatch this plan to go. So the salesman or whatever that came in with the drifter woman, he starts making help me noises. He's out in a ditch somewhere, and so they hatch this big old plan, this rescue mission, to go out, to go to the shower stalls, and then go through the sewers, and then go get him. Right? They bring, so it's 2 people, Emilio Estevez and then some other guy. They bring in with them a bunch of equipment, guns, and some rope and a sleeping bag. And then they get to the showers. They find the access to where that goes to the sewer, and they throw you see them throw the sleeping bag down, right? It just plops right in the water, and they never touch it again. It isn't in a single extra scene. They go through this whole song and dance about bringing all this equipment and stuff in a sleeping bag. They throw the sleeping bag in the sewer and leave it there. And then it turns out the guy's dead anyways. And then they get the kid, and then
but then the bike boy's there, and he has they have to tell him that his dad got killed.
Except they don't, right?
Yeah.
He's like, tell me my dad's alive. And then Emilio Estevez is just like, acting conflict.
Does not compute. So,
anyways.
But then after that, everyone's asleep, and then the kid wakes up, and they start seeing a bulldozer and a golf cart with a machine gun on it show up. And this, I'm not making it up. I mean, it literally is a golf cart with a machine gun on it. But this kid like is the one that sees it, and he's like, "Uh-oh, Billy, wake up." Mm-hmm. And they walk into where Billy's sleeping, and it's like fully nude women on a wall with their just spread eagle. And it's like, what is happening here?
And then so he's in bed with the drifter woman, right? And he's saying, "Billy, wake up," but he's shaking her, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's so awesome.
Because she was under the covers or something, so she could. The kid, I don't think they were told him where or what to expect. They just told him, go in there, start, do your line and shake the. I think he was thinking that he was shaking him, but then she emerged from the under the covers and stuff, and I think you could see him kind of do. All right.
This is where the is it the machine gun or no the machine gun starts doing Morse code, And the youngest
after it starts shooting a bunch of people.
Yeah,
right?
well, it killed Bubba, right?
Most on a bunch of people inside the diner, and then just Morse code. And there's like, we need gas.
Morse code, and the kid is like the one that can translate Morse code. He's the youngest one magically. He knows
because he was a Boy Scout or something. And so,
and the whole time, this whole film, there's the semi trucks are literally just circling and circling and circling the gas station, so they're running out of gas.
Yeah,
so it's like we're gonna have a truce, so you guys can fill up our gas tanks.
Yep.
And then we'll go back to fighting each other.
Yeah, and then it's this montage of them filling up gas tanks one by one, right? And then a millisecond later, they're all exhausted. And Emilio Estevez has, like your golf story, he just has blisters all over his hands. It's fucking filling up a fucking gas tank, right? I mean, it's no work. There's the flap switch thing. You don't have to do anything. And they're like exhausted. They can't stand anymore. And then they ran out of gas, and the things flip out, and then it's all just a bunch more carnage, right? They flatten the diner, and then, as Spenny said, they find a boat and sail away. That's it.
Yeah. So one of these, the trucks are starting to destroy the building, but Emilio Estevez has this great idea that he's going to grenade the gun thing. So he's like talking to this guy, and they're walking around. He's like, it's okay. But then he just throws a grenade in it, and it explodes. But then it cuts. And the next scene, he is inside the building, and it's just their butts. Just two dudes' butts bent over. And the lady's like, that's not what I usually expect from a hero. That's not what a hero normally looks like. But it's literally, they just blew something up outside, and now they're inside with their heads down like they're in a tornado drill, and it's just the cut is to their butts. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh man.
The rest of the film is they go through the sewer again, and then they run to a marina. And one dude decides he's going to stop and steal some dead woman's ring. And, of course, there's a semi sitting there quietly. No one can see it. No idea it's coming. Comes flying at him, knocks him over. Everybody else gets on the boat. The movie ends.
The movie's
Ta-da!
over. And they go to their destination is he randomly overheard some kind of anecdotal story that there's some island off North Carolina that has no machines. Right?
Yeah,
that's
Haven,
the whole
North
plan.
Carolina. Yeah. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
6 miles off the coast, I think, is what he said. So good on him. Jeez Louise. But the ending says 2 days later, a large UFO was destroyed in space by a Russian weather satellite that just happened to have a laser cannon and a nuclear missile. And 6 days later, the comet's tail passed Earth. The end.
Oh man. And we're leaving a lot out, right?
Yeah, I was trying to see if there's any. So one thing about the rocket launcher, so that was a light anti-tank assault weapon, which in reality, it can only be fired over the shoulder due to the support. It cannot be reloaded. It can only be fired once. And they just kept loading those babies up.
It's just, I mean, I think it goes without saying, like there was no context whatsoever why this Bubba gas station owner would have an entire arsenal.
No,
it doesn't. It's completely irrelevant. But as to the why, right? As to his character.
Yeah.
And my word.
So the one character we kept forgetting to mention is Yeardley Smith. She is the voice of Lisa in The Simpsons. So she is the newlywed.
Oh. Nice.
She and the other guy that Jordan mentioned that like drops the
sleeping bag
down the thing. That was kind of his addition, but she was deeply embarrassed by this film. So was Emilio Estevez. He says that's the one film he regrets doing. So no surprise there.
Well, what should we tell the audience? How should we rate this on the Ascension to 10 scale?
I don't know what to rate this because it was so off the wall. Like there were some parts that were so ridiculous that it was funny. Like it kind of reminded me of Mars Attacks, but worse.
Yeah,
kind of that same shtick.
I think that was. I got the impression that King and just I guess he thought that this was a turd while they were making it, right? But the intention was that it would be scary, right? He thought that this was going to be a horror thing and not a joke. Mars Attacks, that's a joke, right? It's true. A joke, and it was meant to be a joke. Yeah. Intentions have to matter here, I think, because I don't know. So for me, this is an easy Ascension. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
It has to be an Ascension just based on you still don't know what actually happened in this film. Like you still don't. I mean, they could.
And there's no indication that they even care.
No.
Right? It's a stupid half story about nothing that has no resolution, and you don't care, right?
It was just so over. It's just so over the top. If you can, don't watch the movie, but go find like a review of it on YouTube, and they will probably highlight a lot of the points that we make, or watch ours on YouTube. Ascension to 10 podcast.
This is all you need to know.
Just stay with us.
Stay with us.
But this was trippy. It was funny, but it was.
I watched this as another movie. I watched at 2x speed, and so it was even more just insane watching it at at that rate because all the effects were ridiculous and so
the cuts probably seemed even stranger.
I felt like I was missing some context.
You were not. That was it. No. They just forgot to add the context.
Well, we are going to stick with vehicular themes this week because we are leading up to a bit of a special, a never before done special within the Ascension to 10 lore. You'll have to stay tuned for that. We do have a disclosure here. There will be no episode next week. Both Spenny and I are traveling.
That's right.
I'm headed home to go to my grandma's 90th birthday bash. It's going to be an absolute rager.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
Happy birthday, Gran.
Get lit.
Spenny is going to Napa. Is that right?
I'm going to wine country. Yep.
Let's
10-year
go.
anniversary, so we're going.
Let's go.
It'll be fun.
So, no episode next week. There will be a normal-ish type episode the following week, and then the week after is when our special is going to come out with
that's right.
some additional content. So you'll have to make sure you stay tuned to the YouTube page for the additional content because that will be exclusive to YouTube. Right. But we're going to stay on the car theme to lead up to this special, and we're going to do Death Race 2000 next.
All right.
Not the remake, the original.
Not the remake, the original. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but it's on that level. That's
likewise.
Funny.
So the Sweet. Car theme is heading to a point that I honestly don't even know if we've talked about or not, but we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it
or the week after.
We're gonna get to the top of the pyramid.
That's right.
Well, as always, you can find us on socials at Ascension 2TEN on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And then, as I mentioned, we are on YouTube at Ascension To 10 Podcast. You can check out our website, ascension210.com. And you can email us at boys@ascension210.com. If you have any recommendations, anything that we may have missed or need corrections on, we love hearing that. We'll add that to the next episode. I think that's it.
I think that's it as well.
Next week.
Yep.
He's Jad. I'm Spenny. Bye.
Bye.
Ascension to 10.